For latest astrology videos, subscribe AstroEdify channel and press this bell icon to get notified when a new video goes live. Hello everybody, welcome to AstroEdify. Today we are going to talk about Mars in 8th house. What kind of results Mars can bring in 8th house, good and bad both, that we are going to discuss today. Let's start this video. If you want to book a consultation for yourself, you can go on this website. The link is shown in the description. So we are going to talk about Mars in 8th house today. First case we are going to talk is Mars, if it is well placed or good or strong. And Lagna Lord, means ascendant Lord, Sun and Moon, they are well placed in the chart. No matter what placement of any planet what you are seeing. I am talking about Mars here, but I am talking about any planet, whatever you see. You need to see Sun, Lagna Lord and Moon every time, because they are the controllers, they are the foundation pillars of the horoscope, because they are your personality, they control you as an individual. If they are well placed, generally chart will have strength. If they are badly placed, no matter how good your other planets are, they won't be capable to give any kind of positive results. So the thing here is that if Lagna Lord, Sun and Moon are strong and well placed, and Mars is in 8th house, like in own sign or in friendly sign, so exaltation sign, and the sign in which it is sitting, the lord of that sign is well placed, and it is not associated with malefic planets or enemies like Saturn, Rahu, Ketu, or it is retrograde or combust, then it means that Mars in 8th house will have capability to bring good results as well. But remember, 8th house is a malefic house. Mars is a natural malefic planet. No matter how good Mars is placed in 8th house, it will still have capability to induce troubles in life at some scale. We'll talk about them, but the benefic aspect will be that no matter, even though it throws challenges, it helps the person to overcome them. So first case, if Mars is good and is strong, and it the Lagna Lord, Sun and Moon are well placed, then it makes person what? Bold, stubborn, gives positive aggression. It's not like immature stubbornness. It's like, if I decided something, if I thought that this is something worthwhile to follow in my life, I'm going to stick to it. So that kind of commitment is given by Mars. It can be towards anything. So it brings that ability. It also brings a risk-taking capability within the person, that I am willing to take risks in order to fulfill my goals and ambitions. Otherwise, I cannot just rely on things to happen all automatically. I need to pave certain ways from my side to let them happen as well. So that kind of mentality. Another point, Mars in 8th house makes person competitive, tough, gives fighting spirit. It makes person relentless and persistent. No matter how hard the situation becomes, the person never gives up until and unless they achieve what they are going for, means their goals. Then, as I mentioned, in 8th house, Mars will certainly bring challenges, struggles, changes, instability, ups and downs. But ultimately, person will be able to overcome those things in life and will be victorious finally. That is the good aspect of Mars. So that happens in 8th house. Then Mars in 8th house means dignity and self-respect matters to the person, because Mars and Sun are what? Ego related planets. So they bring quite over a lot of importance, that for a person, that for me, self-respect and dignity matters, and I want to prove to myself as well as the people around me or the world or society that I have capabilities. I'm not just somebody who is of no use or incapable. So that kind of thing can be given, or a notion can be given by Mars to the person in 8th house. Another point, Mars looks at 2nd and 3rd house from 8th. So 2nd house and 3rd house are your speech and communication. So Mars here can bring a speech which is straightforward, assertive, but at the same time, if let's suppose it is hampering 2nd and 3rd house negatively, then it can show really hurtful speech at the same time. That is the nature of Mars. Or maybe sometimes it can bring some kind of tones where you are not trying to be hurtful at all from your end, but other people think that way, that you are coming out a bit harsh. So that kind of thing can also be seen. But in general, Mars can also show a person who knows what to speak, when to speak, and clear cut. If Mars is in Earth and well placed, then it can also show a voice which is particularly in males, which is quite it's like a it's like a baritone voice, that kind of thing, a heavy, the manly voice, that kind of thing. Mars can show that. Then Mars in 8th house is negative also for health. No matter how good it is placed, in 8th house it has capability to create health problems. So 8th house is accident, injury, surgeries, or diseases, or sudden death, all those kind of things. But in 8th house, Mars, as I mentioned, if it is strong and Lagna Lord is strong, it will show. 8th Lord and Lagna Lord, if they are good, they will show that person can live long. But if Mars is in 8th house afflicting it, it can show that person can also face accidents, some health issues, some injuries, surgeries can happen in life, that can be seen. Some troubles on the body, some wounds, some cuts on the body can be seen. That is 8th house. You can't escape that part, no matter how good your Mars is. Then another point here is, as I mentioned, Mars can throw challenges or struggles in any other areas as well. It can be in career, it can be in family life, it can be with respect to any other domains. But finally, as I mentioned, it will also give you opportunities and the inner capability to fight and overcome. That is the beauty of Mars in 8th house if it is strong. Then for marriage perspective, Mars in 8th house also is not considered a really good placement. No matter how good it is placed, even then Mars in 8th house can harm, like certain things can be seen. It can harm your spouse's health or life. If other yogas are like that, you have to see other combinations also, particularly in Navamsha chart. But for marriage, it is malefic, or relationships, it is malefic. Particularly, I'm talking about marriage. So it can show either it can harm the spouse's health or life, or it can show troubles with in-laws. 8th house is your in-laws. It can show delayed marriage. It can create breakups. It can give fights and power struggle or possessive issues. It can create commitment issues sometimes. 8th house is lust. It can create high lust. But remember, if Mars is well placed in 8th house, it will also show that even though the sexual desire is high in the body, person is not going to exhibit and satisfy it with illicit means. That is also a suitable aspect. If Mars is suitable in 8th house and Jupiter is strong, then other than that, it can also show like initial huge attraction towards somebody, but gradual disinterest dawns upon as the things go by. And if bad yogas are happening, then it can create abuse, violence, distance, divorce, extramarital affairs, all those kind of stuff. But for this, you also have to see other yogas. Okay, so generally, Mars in 8th house is not good for what health perspective. It can create some damages on that, and for the marriage perspective in general, it can create issues. Then for career options, if Mars is in 8th and it is responsible for career, you need to see combinations. It's good placement for working in defense or police or security industry, secret services, medicine, healthcare, life science. We can see surgeons with that. STEM fields, all kind of STEM fields, means science, technology, engineering fields, manufacturing, heavy industries. 8th house is very good for that. Sports, fitness. Then 8th house is also good for tax, revenue, accounts, risk management, insurance, real estate, civil engineering, architecture, infrastructure, food and agriculture, research, development, analysis, or scientists can be seen with this. And Mars in 8th house is very good for logic, reason, deep inquiry, research. All if Mercury, Moon, and Jupiter are well placed, Mercury, Moon, Jupiter, and Saturn, they also control research areas. So if they are also supportive, they can show people who are scientists or researchers in any fields. So that is also a very beautiful placement for Mars. Then Mars can in 8th house, it's a suitable placement, but it can create some harm in the relationship with siblings, because it looks at 8th place to the 3rd house. So it can show mainly brothers, because Mars is brothers. But in general, Mars in 8th house can show either a distant relationship with siblings, or any kind of issues which come up later in life, which tend to create rifts in relationship with the siblings, no matter how good your Mars is. it can create those kind of issues. Then it can also show, it can make you either the eldest or the youngest among the siblings. That is also a placement. Then it's good for land and properties and inheritance. Means buying and buying lands, having properties in life and getting inheritance. If Mars is strong, very beautiful placement for that. So these are quite good results of Mars in 8th house, which if it is strong. Then if it is now second condition, if it is bad and afflicted, it is making doshas. Sun, moon and lagna lord are badly placed in the chart. It's debilitated, no Nij Bhanga happening, or it's in enemy signs, the sign in which it is sitting, the lord of that sign is not well placed. It is damaged by Saturn, Sun, Rahu, Ketu, and combust completely or retrograde. And in Navamsha, it is not well placed. It is hemmed between Pap Kartari. So all those kind of things, they are happening. Then Mars will lose more and more power, and it will become more and more malefic. And if Mars is 6th, 8th or 12th lord, then it will be more malefic again. So in this case, Mars will have a lot of affinity to create a lot of negative results in life. And all the things which I'm going to tell you now, that varies from case to case, person to person. The more Mars will be malefic, the more other planets will be creating malefic yogas and helping Mars to bring more disastrous results. That will depend from case to case. So treat it as a source of information, what I'm going to tell now, and you have to look at the entire chart and then arrive at some proper conclusion. Don't jump to conclusions unnecessarily. So if Mars is badly placed, afflicted, and it does not receive support from Sun, Lagna, Lord and Moon, then Mars will have a lot of malefic intensity and it can create quite negative results in life. So first of all, it can be very bad for health and life. Either it can show short life, or it can hamper the longevity, or it can hamper the health to a really severe extent where all the time person is living a very poor quality of life because of continuous health problems. It can show sudden death as well, because 8th house is accidents. So it can show all of a sudden loss of life if Mars is bad there. Then it can show disabilities, surgeries, chronic or fatal diseases. Then all the bad results which I talked about, marriage, Mars can bring all the things, affairs, loyalty issues, no commitment, breakups, loss of health or life to the spouse, troubles with in-laws, divorce, separation, any kind of troubles. So that is Mars in 8th. It can create abusive, toxic marriage or relationships. Then you need to see yogas for that as well. You need to see 5th and 7th lords and Venus also. But in general, I'm talking about. Then Mars in 8th house can also show sudden or normal loss of assets or savings, because Mars looks at second house. Second house is what? Wealth, savings, the money which you, liquid assets which you have. And Mars is the natural controller of assets, properties, immovable assets. So if Mars is badly placed, either it can show loss of money all of a sudden, or you are not able to save any time in life, or second point, either the person is never able to make their own home or buy a property, or even if they get any of their own home or able to purchase or buy that, they lose it ultimately, or no inheritance. That is also Mars. Then it can create financial instability, loans, debts, which are of such a nature where you are not able to repay them easily. Even if you are able to repay, new loans arise, that kind of thing. 8th house is instability. If Mars is responsible for career and the yogas for career are not good, or business, then it can show destruction or instability in career and business both, and loss of reputation, scandals, scams, controversies. That is what 8th house is. Then I think the best example is Bill Clinton. He has, in his case, Mars is not in 8th house, but Mars is 8th lord in the Lagna. 8th lord in the Lagna. So in his case, I think he was running Venus Mars period or Venus Rahu period when that Monica Lewinsky scandal happened. So that in his case, Mars is functioning in that way. So that is again. Then it can also show in any person who is involved or indulged in illegal, illicit, criminal activities. You need to see the yogas. Don't jump to conclusions, but Mars can show that. Then it can also bring excessive rage, violence, abuse, cruelty, sadism, sexual perversions, high lust, crimes, addictions of all kinds, arrogance, bitterness, jealousy, hatred, crab mentality, frustration, vengeful approach, egomania with low self-esteem, or it can also show death or loss of things which with respect to the house which Mars controls. Let's suppose Mars is responsible for fifth house, so it can show troubles or loss of children, or it is responsible third house is siblings, so that depends. Fourth house is mother, so that can be also seen, the areas which Mars governs in the house, in the chart. Then, or it aspects, let's suppose Mars is looking at, so Mars is looking at second house, third house, so areas related to that as well. So these are negative results of Mars, of course, but as I mentioned, you take it as a source of information and see the chart totally and then come to conclusions. That is all. So today for Mars in 8th house, that is all from my side. Next time we'll talk about Mars in 9th. I hope you would have understood what Mars can bring, good and bad both, when it is in 8th house. So if you are new to my channel, subscribe below. For more, check on my website, Facebook page and Instagram. Their links are shown in description. Otherwise, we will meet in the next video. Till then, goodbye and thank you.